So welcome back to the Lockdown Show in association with the Exeter Chamber of Commerce, Bitpod, One Voice Media, and presented to you today by myself, Mr. Matt Young. It's the first of our fortnightly shows and I've missed you. Now, we listened to the feedback we got in one of our polls we ran in a previous show, and by far and away the most popular item there was marketing. So popular, we can't cover it all in one show. So the whole of June is going to be based on marketing, okay? Today and the 26th, our next show in another fortnight. Explaining how we're going to go about that now, I'm going to introduce you to Helen Scholes from the Exeter Chamber of Commerce.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the first of our June lockdown shows. Just a reminder that we've now moved to a fortnightly format, and having listened to your feedback, both of our shows this month are focused on marketing. At the end of the month, we'll be taking a deep dive into everything strategic. But today is all about the things you can do right now to help promote your business, starting with ensuring your target audience is at the heart of everything you do. We're also covering how to make the most of your website, what types of content you should be focusing on, and making social media work for you. And if that wasn't enough, we've brought together some of the region's top media to talk to you about how they can support your business during the coming months. Whilst marketing was definitely at the top of your wish list, we couldn't ignore the next most popular request, wine. So for our final slot today, we're joined by a certified sommelier to talk about how to be wine savvy. Afterwards, we'll be taking our post-show Zoom meeting to the next level, and our presenters will each be hosting their own room, so you have an opportunity to quiz them in more depth. Look out for the links in chat at the end of the show. But before we kick things off, just a few parish notices. In partnership with Exeter City Council, in Exeter and the FSB, we're running a survey on the return to the workplace. Your responses are invaluable in helping us understand how we can support you. It takes 5 minutes to do and the link's in chat. A reminder that the discretionary grant scheme is now up and running for micro businesses and small businesses, and if you're interested in applying, follow the link in chat. And a massive thank you to our premium partners, Radio X and Reach, both of whom have come up with some fantastic packages for Chamber members. The email from Reach should have reached you yesterday, and Radio X's will be coming very soon. So without further ado, we're going to kick off today's show with our second Stronger Together video. And it's fabulous to be part of something so positive. We really all are stronger together. Enjoy the show, everyone.
I'm Becky Nuttall, Marketing Executive at Jurassic Fibre, and we order all of our printing from Storm Press in Sowton.
Hi, I'm Chantal Siderick, and I'm a local personal stylist and run my own style consultancy. I buy my clothes from Lorna Ruby and Sancho's in Exeter.
Hi, I'm Matt Roach from Exeter Airport. We get our motor vehicle spares from Moorview Motors in Wimpole.
I'm Mandy Lucas, owner of Farm Animal Welfare Consulting Limited. I am grateful for having Oinker's Farm Shop on my doorstep.
Hi, I'm Kieran Northcott from Northcott Beaton Insurance Brokers. I get beer delivered at home from Exeter Brewery.
Hi, I'm Lisa from One Voice Media. I use No Guts, No Glory Framing Studio on 4th Street.
Hi, I'm Sandra Wright and I run Connection Software. I buy all my meat and veg from the local farm shop in Ottery St Mary. We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together.
I am loving the Stronger Together campaign. Thank you to everybody who's got involved with that so far. Now don't forget, today at the end of the show, as opposed to our normal networking, we're going to run some masterclasses. So it's your chance to speak with all of the speakers that are on today's show, well, a majority of the speakers that are on today's show, and ask them a few more questions. So the links for that will be appearing later on in the show, right towards the end. But let's kick off now with our first guest on today's show, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Kirsten Clarke. Kirsten, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Matt. Thank you very much for having me on. It's
It's really great to be here.
Kirsten is here today to tell us how to go about marketing during the current crisis and how to target your market audience. Kirsten, over to you.
There are lots of areas being covered in today's talk, so I am going to give quite a general overview of what businesses should be thinking about now. Start by going back to basics and thinking about who your target audience is. Look at your current client base, who is already using your products and services, and then think about promoting to people that fit the similar mould to them. The better you understand your target audience, the better you will be at marketing to them. And consider whether your target audience has changed. Lives are very different now to how they were 3 months ago. Many people are working from home. Some people have been furloughed. People are working around homeschooling and young children. They're splitting shifts trying to fit everything in. People might not be getting your messages. Their work emails might have been switched off. This can all play havoc with buying patterns, and their buying habits might have changed. So you need to reevaluate who your audience is and how you find them. There is no point marketing as you did before if your clients are no longer there. You need to reassess and adapt to the different landscape that we are now in. Think about Skype. Skype have been outmarketed and outplayed by applications such as WhatsApp, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom. Skype didn't think about their audience, they didn't listen to what their customers wanted, and they've lost quite a big opportunity. Don't be a Skype. Consider your brand awareness and methods to get your name out there. Review the different ways to communicate with your clients. So how do you market to your target audience? Well, social media and your website obviously play a crucial role, so make sure you're keeping them up to date with regular content. Make sure your messaging has clarity and it speaks to your clients. Have you looked at your Google business listing? Your opening hours might have changed. You could update that. Or do you have a coronavirus specific update that you could put on there? Think about videos. Do you have a YouTube channel? Could you create one? If you don't know what content to put on there, think about what questions you get asked by your clients. Do a short, snappy video of answering those questions and upload it to your YouTube channel. Put it on your website and then across all your platforms. Could you host a webinar and answer people's questions? More than ever, use your contacts and use your database. We keep hearing about Buy Local, and Exeter is a fantastic place to do that. Pick up the phone and talk to your clients, see how they are managing and whether you can do anything to help them, and vice versa. See if there's anything that they can do to help you. Now more than ever, people want to help. Use an email marketing tool to contact your clients. If you've closed and you're about to open, send them an update with your new opening times and whether you're introducing PPE equipment or anything else. Something like MailChimp can be used for up to 2,000 contacts for free. What about collaboration? Could you collaborate with another business that is going to add value to your customers? Or could you sponsor an event which will help to raise your profile? PR is another fantastic tool to get your name out there. Think about getting in contact with places like Reach PLC, who run Devon, Grow Magazine, Exeter Living, Exeter Life. There are many publications out there who are only too happy to share your good news stories and updates. And if they can't do that right now, make sure you stay in contact. They might be able to share something later down the line for you. Awards is another fantastic way to create brand awareness, and there are many awards now online. Think about getting your name out there and see what category you can fit into. Networking doesn't just have to be done face-to-face. Many networking events have now moved online and they've done it really successfully. So have a look at what events there are, see what fits in with your schedule, and again, think about where your clients might be hanging out. Can you offer a live chat function on your website? You might not have thought about it before, but now is the time more than ever to get creative. Could you run a competition to boost your brand awareness? You could promote this through your social media channels, but just remember to check their rules and regulations. Now could be an ideal time to create a podcast and showcase your skills and specialism in an industry. And use your local community. There has been a massive spike in community spirit since coronavirus happened. You might already be doing something with your community, and if you're not, see what's happening in your neighbourhood and get involved. Use your platforms to talk about it if it's appropriate. People really want to hear about how communities are supporting one another. So does advertising still have a place? It definitely has a place. With more people than ever working from home, radio listening figures have soared, so radio could be a really good way to promote your brand. Speak to Radio X or Heart and see what packages they can put together for you. People are also looking a lot online for news and information. So advertising through somebody like Reach PLC could really work for you. And with more people sitting down in the evening than ever and watching TV box sets with a large gin and tonic, TV advertising is a really good way to get in front of your audience. Look at something like Sky AdSmart, which is very targeted to a large audience. It is very much a digital world right now, but still consider your offline marketing tactics. Think about sending a card or a chocolate bar or a small bunch of flowers to a client. It doesn't have to be a big gesture, just a small token to let them know that you're thinking of them, and you never know where that conversation might lead. Remember with any marketing to measure it. So use something like a CRM system or an Excel spreadsheet and detail down how your clients are finding you. Also put together a content calendar. Again, you can use something as simple as Excel and just make note of what you're going to post every week, what you're going to put on your social media channels, what you're going to blog about if you're going to do a podcast or a video. A content calendar helps to keep you organised and focused. So what businesses have stood out for me during the pandemic? Well, there are many businesses out there doing incredible things, and I really admire the way they have diversified their offering. Some of the cafes on Magdalen Road are offering cooked breakfasts. Many of the farm shops are delivering fish and chips. Independent traders are setting up online shops. Quick's Cheese are doing live streams on their Facebook and Instagram pages with cooking demonstrations. And Powder and Castle are doing a car park party in July. Now, none of these businesses would have thought about things like this prior to the pandemic. So they've really thought of ways to pivot and be innovative with their products and services. So build your brand, keep active and get creative. And if you need to, adapt and diversify your products and services so you can adjust to your customers' needs. And whatever method you use to communicate with your clients, make sure that the information you are putting out there is useful and relevant.
Excellent stuff. You covered some really important points there, Kirsten. Thank you very much indeed for your time today.
Thanks very much, Matt. It's been great to be here. I hope everyone found it helpful and have a great day.
Right, before I introduce our next guest for this afternoon, we have a poll for you. Now, this poll is all about the Stronger Together campaign and submitting videos for that. Please take a moment just to have a little read of the poll that's on your screen right now. Submit your favourite answer. It's multiple choice, as you can see. You've done this before for us, and it's been really, really useful. So just asking you to take 5 more seconds, complete that. That's really useful. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, then that next guest, as promised, is a gentleman by the name of Dan Wiseman, who runs WebWise Media. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dan is speaking to us today about making the most of your website during COVID-19. Dan, it's over to you.
Okay, so the first thing is to let customers know about what you are doing about coronavirus. So are you open? Do you have adjusted opening hours? What are you doing to keep your customers safe? You know, having a coronavirus policy on your homepage of your website is a really obvious thing. We'd be amazed at how many businesses don't actually do that. So make sure you have a clearly visible statement on your website to say we're open and we're ready for business. Secondly, making the most of click and collect is something that we've seen now customers be really, really useful. It's incredibly easy now to set up a click and collect option on your website. If you sell any sort of physical product, you absolutely must be doing it. And I'm including in that things like cafes, restaurants, bakeries, bike shops, garden centres, even local convenience stores selling milk, bread, eggs, newspapers, whatever. As lockdown restrictions are lifted, customers quite rightly are still going to be cautious about shopping, and you want to make it as easy as possible for them. So allow customers to order online and pick up in store at a specific time slot. You know, you don't need an all-singing fancy website to do it, just a simple shop with some key products and a calendar system. So as an example, I'm currently in London and I've seen big queues outside brands like Joe and the Juice, customers ordering their drinks through an app and then picking them up when ready. That sort of functionality is no longer just for enterprise level companies. It's easy and it's available to all, and I'd encourage you all to explore that. It's a few days work for a web company like ourselves, and we've seen some of our customers have a boost of 2,500% increase to online sales during lockdown because of click and collect or local delivery or time slot functionality. It's about making it easy for your customers to access your products, and it's not just about products either. If you're delivering a service, you can do very similar things. So if you're a plumber or an electrician and you have to go into people's homes, why not set up a calendar system on your website to allow customers to book a time slot with you directly? There's some really great ready-made tools out there. So I use one called calendly.com. It takes about 5 minutes to set up, put it on your website, start collecting bookings. I'm offering a free daily consultation session for it, which is a really good lead generation. And you tend to find that a bookable calendar gives people confidence to book and adds professionalism to your business as well. So definitely investigate that. My next tip is about Google Shopping. So Google Shopping, by the end of the year, if you don't know, Google hopes to make Google Shopping free globally. And this means that you'll be able to list your products on Google Shopping search results for free. If you haven't already set this up, start planning to do so. It's obviously free exposure and a new place to appear in customer search results. If you're using a platform like Shopify for your website, then it's really easy to do. And most other platforms will also integrate nicely with Google Shopping as well. And then finally, my last tip really is just to think about being creative with your marketing. Working from home gives a lot of opportunities to get a bit more creative. You could start blogging about your hobbies at home, filming your lunchtime walks. You could give a tour of your home office or talk about some of the nutritional meals that you're cooking in your kitchen, which is now just meters away from where you're working at your desk. Marketing isn't always just about products and services. It's a selfish way to think about marketing. It's actually about the people behind the brand. So showing your audience what you like, what you enjoy, how you live. It's a great way to connect, and it's so easy to do now that the pressures of perhaps being in an office are removed and working from home. So give that a try.
Excellent stuff, Dan. Thank you very much indeed for your time this afternoon.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck, everyone.
Okay, something brand new for the show that we're going to be running over the next few weeks is something we like to call Meet the Media. Now, this is giving us a chance to introduce you to members of the media and telling you how you can go about interacting with them to help promote potentially your business and what's going on. Kicking us off today then is Andy Cooper, the editor of Devon Life.
I've been asked to talk about Devon Life magazine as my contribution to this, but if I can be a little bit cheekier, I'd like to talk more about the local media scene in general. And my sentiment really is today that we're perhaps at a bit of a crux moment for the industry in this neck of the woods and perhaps across the UK, and never has the sentiment use it or lose it been more appropriate. I think we've been quite good at supporting our local tradespeople and food supply chains, and perhaps it's made us think a little bit more about where we source material from and our goods and services. But perhaps local media might have been slightly overlooked in that on the basis that, quote unquote, it's always been there. But it may not. Obviously, some of the challenges that the internet have wrought on traditional publishers are there already, and they've perhaps been made a little bit more acute by recent events. But we take it for granted that local media will supply news and information to us, and I think that isn't necessarily the case. We need to be alive to the fact that the advertising revenues are the thing that in the main supports the journalism that we all rely on. I don't know of anybody really who doesn't use journalism in their daily lives. And I'd ask everybody to take stock and think a little bit more about their use of local media and how they can support the journalists and the salespeople operating in our communities to keep those fantastic brands and that information front and centre as we go forward after the pandemic.
Hello friends, it's Joff from Grow Relentlessly Positive News. Thanks for having me. This has been a really interesting time for Grow during lockdown as we focused all of our effort and time and energy into our digital offering. So our website, grow-media.co.uk, and a variety of social media platforms on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Google My Business. We've seen our audience grow significantly during this time, and that's been thanks in part to a really successful video project, which we launched with people from all over the world, sending in sort of 3 to 5 minute video diaries each week of what their world looks like at the moment. That project was called Grow Voices, and we recently passed the 1 million view mark on that project, which was amazing. It was a great achievement for us. It's also been really encouraging to see that kind of global desire for positive news. And more than ever at the moment, we think that holding on to hope and positivity is really important, given all the challenges that we're facing as a society. So please do favourite our website on your browser or follow us on social media for your sort of daily dose of positivity. And if you'd like to work with us in some other way, please do get in touch. My name's Joff, and you can email me joff@growexeter.co.uk. We'd love to hear from you and really hope to see you as soon as we're able to.
Hello, as you've been hearing, what you do digitally in your marketing is really important. But I'm from the hated, maligned mainstream media, or at least that's what some on social media would have you believe. Now, most companies, if you're going to advertise yourself properly, need to use a range of media channels, including those American monoliths like Google and Facebook, where you don't quite know where your advertising is going to appear. Waitrose, Marie Curie and This for Sandals Holidays, for example, found they were unwittingly funding terrorism at one stage. Now, mainstream media may not be considered cool, but we are trusted, affordable and proven. So when you're advertising, combining media almost always pays off. When you hear your message on radio, for example, you know that people are often going to a digital channel later to learn more. More than 60% of listeners do an online search after hearing a radio ad, and they will hear it. Radio ads are hard to avoid, not quite as hard as cinema, as you can see, but ahead of everyone else. And each of the media will have their own unique characteristics, of course. And that's good, because using one medium alone is really limited. Even radio, even a station like Radio X, is only going to reach a proportion of people in the area. It's about 70,000 adults in a typical campaign at a cost of about £2 per thousand. It's a bit more complicated than that, because as with most advertising, you need to get to people many times before they make an active buying decision. But you'll be doing it in a trusted space, because once again, radio has been surveyed as the most trusted medium in the UK. Our friends in television and the press not far behind. And because of the pandemic right now, advertising costs are cheaper than they've been for years, giving businesses like yours the opportunity to build share of voice against the competition for those of you who have something to say, and hopefully that's all of you. So trust your local media organisations. We'll work with you on news, on advertising, on promotions, and almost certainly we and our colleagues, our friends and competitors at Grow and Reach and Archant have values more aligned to you here in Devon than perhaps the social media conglomerates in the United States.
Hello everyone, and thank you to the Exeter Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to talk on Friday Lockdown about this pandemic. We do believe that media has a particular responsibility and opportunity to help provide a platform for us all to interpret what has been happening, but also to promote the good that people do and the businesses and services which we have. At Exeter Living, we focused on 3 areas. Firstly, a social media campaign using the hashtag Exeter Together, sharing the good that people and businesses are doing, and it's quite extraordinary how supportive so many have been. Secondly, through our emails each Friday, again highlighting the good stuff, but attempting to interpret, attempting to pick up the themes such as that the lockdown makes everything local. And thirdly, through our events. We've recently started the Exeter Living Business Club, where for the first one we'll be hearing from Oddfellows, Libraries Unlimited and Exeter Northcote, and additionally we'll be launching Business Surgeries, where we're providing a platform for professional service companies to help others in Exeter develop their businesses in these times. It's important to share those insights and the values which people have in this great city. We're proud of our contribution through Exeter Living. We'll be really proud when everything comes roaring back later in the year. Thank you.
My name's Nick, Marketing Director at Reach. We're the publishers and owners of Devon Live and Western Morning News here in Devon and Exeter. And I want to tell you all about a new campaign we're launching, or will launch in a big way from Monday, called I Am Open, or hashtag I Am Open. It's designed to help get the businesses, specifically the SMEs of the UK, out of lockdown, essentially. From Monday, it looks like the majority of retailers will be allowed to open. But I think the reality is that most people, most consumers will still be a little bit unsure about who is or isn't open. And I think probably in another way, exactly how those businesses may be working to ensure that their staff and also their customers will be safe and secure when they do open. And that is the premise of our campaign, really. But wrapped within that, of course, will be some great offers for you, such as a free landing page for your website or your campaign, a free montage video for your business, a free online marketing health check to understand exactly how strong your marketing presence is online when people search you on Google, and also some fantastic incentives and offers, including heavily discounted products to help you as well. On top of that, we're also doing a Twitter hour once a month across our entire network of the UK. So that's essentially Devon Live, but across every area of the UK as well, where we're going to do shout outs to and retweets to all the businesses out there who are open and want to tell their loyal customers. If you want to hear more about this, go to local.reachsolutions.co.uk/I am open, or search for I am open community on Google. You'll see us pop up. Cheers and good luck.
Okay, time to introduce you to our next guest on this week's Lockdown Show, and this is Jennifer Korst. She is Head of Marketing for Swanky. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Glad to be here.
Jennifer is here today to talk to us about how to develop a content strategy to help customers find us this summer.
Okay, so let's talk content. And I think it's a really interesting time to dig into this topic because you've actually got a lot of consumer patterns changing. So potential customers are sat out there actually Googling or searching for alternatives to products and services that they can no longer access like they used to. I'm sure you can think of examples from your own life. Perhaps there's a good or a service or a product that you used to have every Friday or your Sunday newspaper. And now when you're no longer able to go to the shops as often as you want, you're looking for alternatives. And so if you have a content strategy on your site, it's very likely that those consumers are finding you. Content strategy actually helps you establish yourself as a thought leader in your field. And that's a really good thing because if people come to you for answers and they associate your brand with a certain industry, that's great. It's a great long-term goal to have just for brand awareness. And content can help with your short-term goals as well. It can help you sell products if you set up your strategy right. And I say that word strategy because it's super important to consider why you're doing content, what the goal is. Ideally, choose a measurable goal so you can measure different content types against each other. And let's dig into what type of content you could be producing. I think there's two types of content. There is website content and then there's promotional content. Website content is interesting because it's everything on your site. And therefore you want to consider search engines at this time, that your site is technically well set up. And also if you blog more often, you might actually appear on Google for certain keywords, but it's a long-term strategy, so it takes a bit of time unless you might work with an SEO agency who could help you out. Something else you want to consider is to be communicative on your site at this time. You have a relationship with your customer, and as in any relationship, the more you communicate, the better people will understand you and trust you, and just be honest about what's going on. And people will understand. And also definitely communicate in emails and on parts of your website where it feels natural, how it's going to affect people purchasing from you at this time, if there's delays to delivery or if there's delays to your service. Something else, if you're one of the lucky companies that have a high amount of traffic each month, perhaps over 100,000 users, then you should also consider testing. It's something us at Swanky call CRO, and what you can do is basically scientifically prove what kind of tweaks on your website content will make people add more things to cart or sign up to a newsletter or any type of action you want people to take on your site. So those are a couple of hints on website content, but I'm going to be focused on marketing and promotional content because there is a huge amount you can do here on a short time frame if you want. Now, content mainly where the strategy piece comes in is to target the right person with the right message at the right place and at the right time. I'm sure you've heard this a billion times. It's not as hard as it sounds. When it comes to the right person, make sure you have a target customer in mind. You might have several different target customers, but dig into each of them at different times and have a brainstorm meeting with people at your company that are shop floor staff, as it's called. That might be people in your sales team. It might be people in your customer service team. Have them in the meetings and hear these type of people, your target customer. What are their issues? What are their problems that your product or service is solving? Because the most effective content we've found is based around customer problems. It's based around solving them for them, because subconsciously they will be thinking about these problems. It will be going on at the back of their minds. And if you have a solution, they might download that content or watch that video. So that's kind of the right message. It's supposed to be solution focused, or I'm solving this problem, just watch this or just read this, and you might find your solution with me. And the right place is super important now, but it's building up to summer. And just consider, where will people be wanting to look at content? Where will your audience be wanting to read and listen to content this summer? It might be in magazines, it might be on social media feeds, it might be in the sofa, it might be on the beach. Just imagine your customer, what would they be doing? And you don't need to choose one place. I think it's ideal that you choose to communicate the same message. You have a content calendar with different months, and you put one message per month, or if that's too broad of a strategy, go with one message per week that you're putting across all your social media channels, in your emails, on Google, on your website, in a header banner. This just makes sure that your content comes across as coherent and that you have one message that you're communicating to people across all your channels. And this could also, if you're working on a monthly basis, could work really neatly with your marketing mix and making sure you're promoting content, perhaps in magazines, that fits with the theme that you're promoting on your website and your social media as well. So that's a really effective way of making sure perhaps that video you created solving a customer issue is going out across all channels. Maybe if you're a food and drinks brand, you should make picnic pack lists, or if you're a camping brand, consider a camping checklist. There is lots of ways that you can make content that is relevant, that feels relevant for people right now, and try producing those pieces of content in different formats as well, because not everyone will consume by reading and not everyone will consume by watching a video, because it could be awkward. Maybe they forgot their headphones and they can't watch the video on the beach. So try to perhaps have one landing page where you have different types of formats of content, promoting the same message and the same solution with your product all on one page. And then have all your different marketing channels pointing towards that page. If you have a magazine ad out, make sure to have a nice little URL that people are going to, is easy to type in. And then if you are doing tracking right, you can actually afterwards, you can go in and look which type of promotional activity, like social, did Facebook work better than LinkedIn? Or did the magazine generate more viewers on my pages than YouTube did? There's lots of different ways you can track it if you set it up correctly. And when it comes to right time, just final point, is that a lot of tools these days have automation settings, so that actually certain actions by people can trigger messages to come hit them at the right time. So definitely consider all of these things in your content strategy. There are lots of professionals out there to help you as a Swanky enjoy this kind of digital work. So yeah, best of luck with your content strategy this summer.
Excellent, Jennifer. Thank you very much indeed for your time today.
Well, thanks for having me, Matt.
Okay then, it's now time for the tips and tricks section of the show. Kicking us off today is something called Canva. If you need to spice up your social media feed with some simple but creative graphics and you don't want to splash out on something like Adobe, you should definitely take a look at Canva. They have hundreds of free graphic templates or the option to start from scratch. Perfect for all platforms. Or if you need to create a collage, take a look at Be Funky. It does a great job of that too. We came across this article about scheduling emails using either Gmail or Outlook, both platforms that are used regularly daily. It offers a step-by-step guide so even idiots like me can follow it and schedule emails to send at an appropriate time for you. Have you ever seen the clouds moving in an image on your social media feed, or steam rising from a cup of coffee and wondered, how do they do that? Well, now you can. Download the free app Pixaloop, Pixaloop, and turn your simple images into works of art with just the click of a button. It's a great way to impress your followers. There is a small charge, but if this is the effect you're looking for, it could be well worth it. Do you want to know how to download videos you see on Twitter to your phone or computer? If so, this article gives you some useful resources that can help you with that. You can do this on an iPhone or an Android phone, but please be aware of copyright laws whilst doing this. If you use the wrong video and attempt to pass it off as your own, there could be some repercussions. Finally for today is an app called Your Phone, which is for Android users only. Don't worry, iPhones do this stuff anyway. Link your Android phone and your PC together to be able to view and reply to your text messages with ease, access your favourite mobile apps, and receive and manage your phone's notifications right on your PC. Brilliant stuff. There we go then, plenty of useful tips and tricks for you to be trialling this week. Okay, just before I introduce the next guest on the show, it's a reminder that at the end of the show, you'll be able to join myself, Dan, Kirsten and Jennifer on a Zoom call to ask us any more questions. So if you're interested in doing that, please hang around at the end of the show. But I'm going to introduce our next guest now, and this could be the weirdest intro I've ever done, but here today to talk to us about social media is me. Thank you, Matt. I did tell you it would be weird, but I am here to give you some tips and tricks today about how you should be using social media right now. That has got to be the weirdest intro ever on the Lockdown Show, from one Matt to another, literally. Anyway, I'm here to tell you about social media and what the hell you should be doing at this very moment in time. What I am going to do is give you a general overview today, okay? I can't make everything very specific because we have so many people from so many different industries in here. And without getting down and to look at one particular area which won't help anybody else, that's why I'm going to give you a nice overview. But I will give you some solid takeaways that you can implement with your social media today. Firstly, let's look at all of the platforms and let's start off with the biggest, the behemoth of them all, Facebook. Now, the first objection I get from a lot of business-to-business organisations is that it doesn't benefit us at all. Yes, it does. It being the biggest, it's foolish not to have a presence there. Now, I'm not saying it should be your most important presence, but maintaining a presence there for B2B businesses is actually quite important, because those individuals in those businesses that will want to come and look for you will probably look for some social proofing. And if you haven't got a Facebook page, they might be a little bit suspicious of you. Plus, there are individuals who use Facebook who work in those organisations, and coming across you, however that may be, is still going to be an important thing. So, maintaining a presence on Facebook is for everybody. Statistic time, in the first quarter of 2020, Facebook had 2.6 billion monthly users. And I hear this time and time again, the kids, the young people, they're not using Facebook very much anymore. Let me tell you that the biggest segment on Facebook that is active and using it on a daily basis is the 25 to 34-year-olds, okay? So ignore that platform for those demographics at your peril. Right, moving on to Twitter. Business focused, but not wholeheartedly. It's very political, it's very fast moving, and I'm going to say anarchic. If you want an argument, get a Twitter account. However, there are 330 million active accounts on there. It is being used, even if it is by Trump mostly. Twitter works particularly well if you engage with it, if you really put some time and effort into it. If all you're going to do is post information out and hope that you're going to get something from it, that just simply won't happen. You really have to get conversations going on there. So spending time on there is important. Please don't buy followers. That will benefit nobody. It just fluffs your ego and it won't. I mean, you'll lose them. They'll drift away anyway. So be active. Be part of the community on there, be part of the conversation and really get involved. That's when Twitter will start to work for you. LinkedIn. If there's anybody in this call that doesn't have a LinkedIn account, shame on you. It is outright business to business on there, and it's probably the only platform where you can actively sell what you do for a living without people going, I don't want to hear about that on here. Well, guess what? That's what on here is all about. However, if you are yourself, let your personality shine through on there, it can stand you out from the audience. Not only can it help your business, it can really help you as an individual as well, because when you move on to another business, your LinkedIn account comes with you. So it's a really powerful tool for you to market yourself and, to be honest with you, to help you find another job. LinkedIn is also really important because it is a person-to-person connection on there. And let's be honest, you do buy from people. Final tip on LinkedIn, if you're looking to find out who the important person you need to speak to within that organization is, LinkedIn is the perfect platform for that. Your job title's on there, the organization you work for is on there. Who's the head of buying? That's the person I want to find. Instagram, my current favorite platform, and I'll tell you why in a second. 1 billion users, half of them are active every single day. It's very visual, it's very engaging, and it's quite an honest place to be. That's where it does differ quite vastly from Twitter. Yes, it's full of pouty lips and pictures of your dinner, but if that's all you're seeing, you are curating your own feed incorrectly. If you don't want to see that stuff from those people, simply unfollow them and follow accounts of value. That way you'll curate your field to be useful to you. Not your field, your feed. Stories is where it's at though, and these are basically videos or pictures that you post and they last 24 hours, then they disappear. Seems daft, I know, but they really, really work. I get far bigger engagement through my stories than I do through my feed, so I'm posting there on a daily basis several times a day, and I probably get between 10 and 15% engagement there, as opposed to on my feed. I'm lucky with a really decent post to get about 5%. Demographic wise, it's quite a young demographic on there. Us wrinklies are getting on there, but 2/3 of 18 to 24-year-olds are active on Instagram. Final two I'm just going to touch on. Snapchat, 229 million daily active users on there. If you're looking to connect with a young demographic, it's definitely the place to be. Same story for TikTok. It's still emerging, but I believe it is going to be huge when they figure out how to make money on it, and it's going to be right up there with Instagram. Right, we've covered all the platforms, but think about your audience. The most important thing is to be using the platform where your audience is, not your favorite platform where you hope to engage with some of that audience. Facebook is brilliant because inside Facebook you can look at your insights, and because we give Facebook so much information, it's probably got your date of birth on there and what you do for a living and what you did yesterday. It can tell so much about you, and if they follow your page, you have all that information to your hand, so you can find out the demographic of the people that follow your page. If that matches with the persona that you've already made up, fantastic, you're doing really well. If not, you might consider some different type of content that you should be putting out there. Carry out audits on your own accounts. How well are you doing? Would you follow you? It's a harsh question, and I ask it of all my clients. What are your competitors doing on there? Have a look at their social media feeds. Follow them, see what they're up to, see if it's working for them, and maybe replicate some stuff, maybe learn from their mistakes, but definitely keep an eye on them. I highly recommend you monitoring conversations, and in particular, hashtags. What are people saying within your industry? What are your clients saying? What are your customers saying? Find out what they're talking about and engage in those conversations. Measure, measure, measure. If you're doing something and not seeing how effective it's being, then you are just wasting your time. You might think you're putting out great content and your audience might just think, this is boring, I'm not looking at it. You have to measure how effective that stuff is. Okay, final few tips for you now. Get the tone right. Find the tone for your business. How do you speak? Are you authoritative? Are you knowledgeable? Are you funny? Are you entertaining? Make that consistent across all of your channels. Stay active on your channels. If you leave it blank, it's equivalent to a shopkeeper having a dusty, empty shop window. Make sure you're active. Think about the rule of thirds, okay? This is just a generalization, but I like it because it helps guide conversations. Think about promotion. So a third of the time you spent on there is promoting. Think about a third of the time on there is talking about your industry and what's going on there. And the other third is about the personalized stuff. Maybe what goes on behind the scenes of your business. It's a nice mix. I'm not saying you have to stick to it strictly, but if it gives you some ideas, brilliant. And finally, respond to everyone. If you're having problems keeping up with that, that's a good thing because you've got a really active and vibrant audience. But most of us won't be in that position, me included. If you walk down the street and someone says, hello, do you ignore them? No. You'll probably say hello or just at least raise your eyebrows or acknowledge them. The raise the eyebrows is a like. It's a like for their comment. An acknowledgement is a reply to them. Don't ignore people, it's just simply rude. Treat them like you would treat human beings. So, there's a challenge for me. I've just said respond to everybody. If you want to know more, my social media channels all are based around the name Mr. Matt Young. Find me, get in touch with me, ask me some questions. If I don't respond, I'm not following my own advice. Oh dear. But I will respond and I'll help where I can, okay? Good luck, get active, be proactive, and follow me. Have I finished? Okay, good. I decided it was a little weird to thank myself, but there you go, some tips and tricks about social media and how you should be doing that during lockdown. Right, something else that is very, very popular indeed. We have been asked for this on several occasions, and we are not going to let you down because you're asking us to get on the show a wine expert, and that's exactly what we've done. May I introduce you to the brilliant Rebecca Mitchell.
Hello everyone, and I'm delighted to have been invited to speak on the Exeter Chamber Friday Lockdown show. I'm a wine expert and certified sommelier with the Court of Master Sommeliers and a wine and spirits educator for the WSCT, that's the Wine and Spirit Education Trust. I also have a drinks column in Devon Life magazine, and my sister Gemma has Rendezvous Wine Bar in Southern Hay, Exeter. So what are you all drinking during lockdown? Apparently we're drinking more, but obviously it's best to drink in moderation and all that jazz. So I'm here to offer some wine advice, how to be wine savvy during lockdown. If you have a cellar, my advice is to drink the good stuff now. If lockdown has taught us anything, then it's to make the most of what we've got. So there's no point waiting for that special occasion. Why not give yourself a treat and pop the cork on the bottle that you've been saving? If you don't have the luxury of a cellar, then my advice is to buy smart and trade up. Spend a little bit extra on a bottle of wine because you're worth it and you aren't going out so much at the moment, so why not put an extra £5 towards a bottle? So if you normally buy a wine at £5, then spend a little more and go for a £10 bottle. Or if you normally buy a £10 bottle, just spend a little more and go for something at around £15. You'll definitely notice the difference in quality and your taste buds will appreciate it. Where possible, definitely go for a wine which is either sustainable, organic or biodynamic. The flavours will be so much better. Also, my advice is to branch out, experiment and try something different. Go for the less familiar grape varieties, try something a bit unusual. So if you like a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, then why not go for a Grüne Veltliner from Austria, or an Alvarinho from Portugal, or perhaps a Verdejo from Spain. And if you like the big heavy reds like a Cabernet Sauvignon, then reach for a Malbec from Argentina, or a Tannat from Uruguay, or an Aglianico from Italy. And it's really interesting to go off the beaten track, just try something different. My advice is also to drink local, more important than ever now to support our local English vineyards. And we're so lucky here in Devon to have many award-winning estates right here on our doorstep. The likes of Brickhouse Vineyard and Sharpham and Pebblebed and Lion Bay Winery, among many others. And you can find a map of the Devon vineyards on the winecellardoor.co.uk. My advice is also to buy independent. So don't just go to the local supermarket to buy your wine. Support the local independent wine merchants. Many of them are offering either online ordering or telephone ordering. Quite a few are offering free delivery in the local Exeter area, or you can click and collect. So, for example, Ian at Smith's Wines in Magdalen Road, there's Jim down at Copson Wines, and there's Christopher Piper out in Ottery St Mary, and the Jolly Vintner in Tiverton. So definitely support your local wine merchant. If you're keen to learn more about wine, then why not join a virtual tasting? There's many events going on online at the moment, and I've been hosting some last man standing competitions on Friday evenings via Instagram. There's also Zoom tastings, podcasts, and many online wine events. Next coming up is the English Wine Week, 20th to the 28th of June, and there'll be many events to get involved with online via that. So why not get involved? You can also follow the likes of Susie Atkins, Ollie Smith, there's Peter and Susie, and the podcasts such as the English Wine Collection, and also there's Batonnage by Liam Stevenson as well. So why not organise a corporate wine tasting event via Zoom for your staff or your clients? This is a great chance to do some team building, to have some morale boosting for your team, especially if they're working from home, and or to give your clients some networking chances. So it's a great opportunity if you are interested to find out more about the corporate wine tastings that I do and the online tastings, maybe for a summer party, or perhaps you're planning your Christmas bash already, then just get in touch with me and I'd be happy to make some suggestions. Finally, you can also learn more about wine online from the comfort of your own home via the WSETglobal.com. I'm a wine educator for the WSET and I teach both wine and spirits courses. So this is a great chance for you to brush up on your knowledge, to brush up on some essential wine skills during lockdown, especially if you're staying at home. Why not do a course online? It's a great way to learn. And so you can impress your boss, you can impress your partner with your newfound wine knowledge. So the other thing that I'd like to say is that obviously we are all tasting during lockdown. So just be a little bit more discerning about what you drink. Support local, drink local, and what's going to be your next tipple of choice at your Zoom dinner party or your isolation date night. It's great to broaden your horizons and taste some different things. So I hope you've enjoyed these wine tips from me, Rebecca Mitchell. You can connect with me on social media via Twitter and Instagram, and also via Facebook at Rebecca M Wines, and you can visit my website rebeccamwines.com. So thank you very much for listening.
Your wish is our command. You asked us to give you a wine expert, and that's exactly what we've just done. Boy, do we deliver on this show. Well done, team behind the camera who sorted all that stuff out. So all of Rebecca's details are in the chat box now. If you want to follow her on social media, get in touch with her via her website. Go and have a look at those details there. Right, we are nearly done. Don't forget, we are back in a fortnight's time, the 26th of June. You can register for that right now. It's a Friday afternoon as always, 2 o'clock. Bottom left-hand corner of your screen, register for next week's show. In the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen should be the link to take you over to Zoom right now, which is where myself and the other speakers from today's show are going to be taking your questions. If you've got any questions for us about marketing, myself, of course, digital marketing, that kind of stuff, pop over now, ask us those questions where we'll be more than happy to help you out. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you in a fortnight's time. Cheerio.